Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Development Review Board meeting for Thursday, August 6th here in 2006. This is for the town of Essex. Appreciate everyone being here and appreciate those that are online. We're going to call this meeting to order at 6:30, and we are going to request that everybody here in the audience mute their cell phones. Online, if you would mind keeping your camera on and mute your microphones. If you'd use your hand emoji when you wish to speak, we'd appreciate that. As always, we'll start off with a quick roll call of who's here this evening for staff and DRB members. I'll start with you, Kent.
Hello, Kent Johnson, Town Planner.
Hubie Norton, Board Member.
Ian Carroll, Board Member.
Nick Martin, Board Member.
Sharon Zakowski, Board Member.
And for the record, we are without Stephanie Bixby this evening. So you have a board of 4. The quorum is 3. Want to make sure that applicants and the audience members have recorded their names on the sign-in sheet for contact information. If you wish to be considered as an interested person of an application, please make sure that you indicate on that sign-in sheet which application you are applying to be an interested person. And anyone wishing to speak must identify themselves for the public record. Second item up on the agenda this evening are agenda additions or changes. Staff, do we have any changes? No?
Nope.
Any additions or changes? Hubie?
No.
I have none. How about you, Nick?
None.
None. And Sharon?
None.
Excellent.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Motion was made by Hubie. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Nick. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Next item up for bids, we have the public to be heard. This section of the agenda is where we can accept comments from the public on items that are not on this evening's agenda. A reminder that the purpose of this board is to act on specific applications using current regulations. For discussions regarding changes to zoning or general philosophy of town business, please bring these topics to the Planning Commission or the Select Board. Reminder that we're all neighbors. Please be respectful and keep your comments brief. If someone's already stated your thoughts, but you want to make sure that your voice is heard, please feel free to say ditto. And at this time, we'll take a look and see if anybody in the audience. Yes, we have 2 gentlemen that had their hands. Why don't we have? Go ahead, sir. No, if you wouldn't mind coming up to the table.
Okay.
Yep.
This is actually an easy and quick one. I'm Peter Lyon.
Yep.
what
Can you
we
use the
got-
microphone if you don't mind, sir, just so that for recording and for online purposes?
How's that look?
That's better. Thanks.
Okay. So I'm Peter Lyon, and I'm here to introduce Rick again. You know, I have a lot of confidence in him. What we're going to do tonight is just give you some information that'll help pave the way for thinking our way through when we meet with you officially in September.
Okay.
Rick has done a good job of packaging things up. There's a lot for you to consider at once, and so we're trying to facilitate and enable and then move on our merry way. And thank you very much for letting us even speak tonight.
Sure. If it's pertinent to an open application, we really can't entertain a lot of the information this evening, so-
Absolutely understand and accept and agree.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. We're just going to give you some documentation.
Okay.
The we I'm misusing. Rick's going to give it to you. He's the master.
Okay. And you're just going to turn it over? We appreciate that.
Yes, so I've got copies here to distribute that you can look at your leisure. Yeah, sure. Let's take those. Let me take one of those.
Ken, just a quick question. Wouldn't this normally come through through the community development office rather than here?
Yes.
Is this about an open application?
Yes, it is.
It is.
So we should be,
We'll actually hand these all to staff if you don't mind, because it's going to.
Everyone, anyone you want.
Yep. So you can give them all the copies to Kent for staff.
Okay.
Yep. And he'll make sure that he disperses them to us, because it's an open application. We don't want to have anything come to us in this
Correct.
format. It has to come through the development office.
Good idea.
Yep.
Fair-
We
fair
appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
So the primary reason that we're doing this, we're about a month away from our previous hearing. We've got about a month to go for our final hearing. And as you may recall, there were a whole series of topics that kind of went back to the town for response to provide us information so we can react. And at this point, of the list of many things that we were looking for, none have been provided. And so the concern is that we get a day or two before the next hearing and get a staff report with all of the information all at once. And so we wanted to just come and express concern
Yep.
that we're halfway to the mark and really haven't received
The info that you're looking for.
information.
I can appreciate what you're asking for and the reason why you're here, and it makes a lot of sense. I want to be careful in that it is an open application and that we are in between a warned visit when you came the first time, and we have another one that's already on schedule. We really can't take any information that's not been warned because it's an open application and in process.
Hearing
So, the hearing is still open, so totally understand where your concerns are. I can certainly appreciate your bringing them to the public awareness and to our awareness at this time. I really would need you to make sure you reach out to the Community Development Department and ask for that information directly.
And we have.
Yep.
And Kent has been very helpful and has communicated fully. It doesn't seem like the issue is that Kent isn't searching for the information. It feels like the information isn't being provided to Kent that Kent is asking for. And so that's the concern that
Sure.
that
So then I would suggest that perhaps you have the conversation with Kent and the staff about potential extension if necessary. And we could certainly look at if it were needed when you come before us the next time that's already scheduled. We could certainly take a look at the idea of possibly needing an extension. If you have a difficulty getting the information you're looking for, I could suggest perhaps reaching out to the town manager if it needed to be escalated to that point, or the department head of wherever. And I'm sure you've done this, but there's limited information we can accept here, and a limited amount of work that we can do for you here.
understood. And the concern mainly is raised because it's been over a year since we made first application. It took almost a year to get into the first hearing. And so there's been plenty of time for the information to be provided, and some of it has been requested for months now, not just
Right.
since the hearing. So we're just concerned that we aren't in control of that. The town is in control of that.
Right.
And based on that, the town has the ability essentially to hold us off
Okay.
forever.
Yep.
And we'd prefer, obviously, not to have that happen.
Okay.
So,
Kent, are you aware of what the information is that they're looking for?
Yes, I'm waiting to hear back from Public Works.
Okay.
So I've let them know that the reason we needed to continue this and have this much time, because this is coming back in September, was to be able to have Public Works have enough time to be able to provide the information, and then you enough time to then have a chance to respond
Right.
back to it. So I expect Public Works comments anytime on it. If there's not enough time for you to fully address the comments in time for the meeting, those can be conditions of the application. If there's something that needs to be changed and you say, yes, we'll change that, then that can just be a condition on there. It doesn't necessarily have to wait for another meeting later after that. So, but I'll get in touch with Public Works tomorrow to just see where they're at with it. And then I'll let you know if I have any kind of update.
all right, we
I totally respect why you're here and understand why you're here and the question that you have before you. Again, we're limited in what we can do here. If I would suggest, if you're not getting the answers that you're looking for, then community development has been trying to get them for you and can't help you, then I would suggest the town manager, or if necessary, the next select board meeting, right? I mean, that's really where it would fall rather than to us at this point. Our job here is to simply weigh what's before us as an application, so.
all right. Well, and again, we just wanted to bring it to your attention that we feel the time clock is ticking, and
Yeah.
and we want to be proactive. We want to respond,
Right.
and when we finally do come before you again, to make the most efficient use of your time.
Yep, we appreciate that, thank you.
I think you'll like this package.
Okay, great, thank you, I look forward to reading it.
All right.
Thank you.
By the way, we're all in favor of John Leo's proposal.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Right?
Do we have anybody else in the room that had an item that was not on this evening's agenda that they would like to share with us about? Seeing no hands, how about online? Do we have anybody online that had an item that they would like to speak that is not on this evening's agenda? Seeing no hands. Okay, I would say that we are through the public to be heard section. Thank you. Next up on our agenda this evening is the approval of meeting minutes. I want to make sure, did everybody have a chance to get their comments in? Board, did you get any comments into staff earlier? Or are we going to do comments here this evening?
I didn't have any comments. I just want to compliment whoever did the minutes.
Great, thank
Did a
you.
good job.
In which case, let's start with item A, which is approval of the meeting minutes from June 4, 2026. I take a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Seconded?
I'll make a motion to
Yeah,
approve the
would you
meeting
make-
minutes.
I second that motion.
And Sharon has seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Any items? Yep.
Yeah, I got it. Line 159, this is the item that was brought up before, and it still has not been changed. It says add hand sanitizer statements.
Yep.
Yep.
It should be stands, I think.
Oop, that's July, that's why.
Stands or stations. or
Yep,
something
stands
like that.
probably. Stations. Well, which one was it? Was it Hubie? Was it your comment?
Well, just saying line 159.
Yeah.
That statement should be,
Oh, yep.
should be stands.
Should be stands. Okay. Would you be okay if they were able to make that correction? And
Yep, oh yeah.
okay, great. Anybody else? Nick, did you have any changes?
That was it.
Okay. And Sharon, did you have any?
I do not.
I missed that one from you as well, so thank you for picking that up, Hubie. Did you have any others, Hubie?
Line, we are June 4th, correct?
Yes, June 4th.
Line 360, where it says proposed executive session. There's just a statement there, and there probably should be a comment to say there was no executive or deliberative sessions held.
Yep, we can add that in there. Maybe 361, we could add none held. Is that an acceptable amendment, Nick?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. Hubie, was there anything else?
No,
Okay. In that case, we have a motion that's been made, and second, I will remake the motion that we approve the minutes of the meeting with these two slight adjustments that have been made this evening. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Sharon, thank you. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the meeting with these updated adjustments, this is for June 4, 2026, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 4-0. In regards to minutes of the meeting for July 2nd, Hubie, did you have any questions or things that you need picked up on?
yeah, line 18 and 19. Seems as though we nominated people, but we never actually voted to accept the nominations.
That's correct.
So there should be something to the, some nominations closed. Then a
Yep.
motion was made to approve the nominations as presented for both line 18, 19 and 23, 24.
Yep.
I don't want you to be unelected or
You want me,
whatever.
you want me tossed out on a
Nick,
technicality?
You gotta be, gotta go beyond nominated.
Nominations closed and,
And then a motion was made to approve the nominations or the selection of the, yeah,
approve the selection.
yeah. And
Motion, yeah, motion passed.
carried.
So Kent, you want me to reread that? I would say line 19 should now be nominations closed and a motion was made to approve the selection. And then line 20 would be motion passed 5-0.
Okay, thank you.
And we should do the same thing. You can just do ditto under line 24. So that'll be 24 and 25.
Got it, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think actually what happens is the nominations were closed.
Yep.
And then the
You're dead on.
vote.
Did you have anything else?
Nope.
Nick, did you have any?
Wasn't it you, Hubie, who made the nomination for Ian?
Yes, it was.
I don't mind. I'll take the credit,
was.
but if Hubie wants it,
Oh, no.
It should be Board Member Norton nominating Ian. Carroll.
right. That was my only
Okay.
change.
Okay, thanks. Sharon, did you have any?
None.
Okay.
And then also similar to the other one where, on line 360, there were no executive or deliberative sessions held.
Yep.
I just think that needs to be positively stated.
Yep. Actually, I don't even see line 360 in July 2nd. Yeah, the executive session wasn't even discussed in the minutes.
It's back on 326.
Oh, 326. Oh, yep. Great, thank you. So 328 could add none held.
Oh, I was on the wrong.
Yeah, that's all right. We got it. With those changes, are we okay with the potential vote on this? Do you have any questions about that, Sharon?
I do not.
Nick?
I will move to approve minutes from our July 2nd, 2026 minutes with the discussed amendments.
So moved. I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the July 2nd, 2026 DRB minutes of the meeting with the amended changes discussed here this evening, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And nays? Motion carries 4-0, because I think I heard your voice, right, Sharon?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thanks. Great. All right. Next item up for bids is our public hearing. So we have one application here this evening to discuss. This is a final subdivision. John and Carolyn Leo are proposing an 8-lot commercial subdivision located at 15 Leo Drive, located in the industrial or I-1 and scenic resource preservation overlay, which is the SRPO districts. Parcel is at 15 Leo Drive and is 17.68 acres. I would take a motion to open the public hearing.
Yeah, Chair?
Yep.
I have a comment to make, is that I've known the Leos for a long time. I've done a lot of business with them, but I don't feel that I have any reason to recuse myself.
No conflict of
If you've lived in this town long enough and you haven't done business with them, I don't know where you've been.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't have a problem with ruling on this. I don't think I'm
Okay.
compromised, if you will.
Okay. He didn't pay you to say that?
No,
Okay.
no.
I guess I should say they
always
did
took
my
credit
driveway
card.
20 years ago. I just remembered.
I know my father-in-law used the storage facility, but I don't think that hampers my ability to make a decision, so.
And I have nothing to disclose, so where have I been?
Okay, great. Thank you for bringing that up. I will take a motion to open the public hearing for this application.
So moved.
Moved by Nick. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Okay, yeah.
I'll go with Sharon. And all those in favor of opening the public hearing for the final subdivision for John and Carolyn Leo, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Reminder, this is how this works. We're going to have the staff present us some details, note the findings and comments from staff. We as a board will have an opportunity to communicate with the staff. Then we'll recognize the applicants and they'll have an opportunity to discuss what the board revealed and give us a little bit more update about what is going on with their application. We have an opportunity to ask questions of that. And then at that point is when we'll have an opportunity to recognize those that are interested persons. So that's the format of how this works. Okay? Staff, feel free to give us a quick rundown.
Okay, so this is at the final level now, so I feel like we've already kind of worked through all the issues in preliminary. I guess the one issue that we didn't, or I don't feel like we resolved in preliminary was the current. So the town plan shows a trail corridor planned within the area of the 50-foot buffer, and the applicant showed that on their existing conditions plan. The plans are not proposing to have a trail easement area or corridor in the 50-foot buffer as they're showing it. So in the staff report, I'm mentioning, and it's also a recommendation from Parks and Rec, to have a 20-foot wide potential future trail easement area within the 50-foot buffer area. Doesn't necessarily seem like it's going to be needed in the future, but we would have it as an option should we need to have that space in the future. So to me, that feels like the one issue that's not been resolved yet for this. So, but otherwise, everything else to me seems in order with the application.
Okay.
That's the buffer area along Saxon Hill Road, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And we're talking, at this point, strictly an easement at that point.
That's correct,
Correct.
just an easement.
Board members, questions for staff? I have one. If the easement is used, and that means that there's an opportunity, there's a chance that there will have to be some clearing in the easement, correct?
Yeah, potentially. They're showing there's some existing trees in that area, and they're adding some new trees to fill out the buffer, to provide a more of a visual buffer to that area. I'm not sure how dense the middle of that area is. If a trail was put in there, I'm figuring it probably would be best to have some kind of floating easement that doesn't restrict us to a specific spot, so that the easement could try to avoid the trees as much as possible when a trail goes in.
Within the 50-foot buffer.
Within the 50-foot buffer area. To actually put a trail in, you probably wouldn't have to disturb more than maybe 10 feet of width, if that, to try to put a trail in. It would just be like a natural surface walking trail, not a higher level facility.
You're not talking multimodal.
No, that's not my understanding
Okay.
for this.
Okay. Great, thanks.
Mhm.
Sharon, questions?
I just had one question on lines 46 to 52 of the staff report. It said something about a water table having to be resolved after a sketch, and I don't remember that being resolved or what that meant.
Let me see.
What line again?
46.
Yeah, lines 46 through 51, but that specific mention is 50 through 52. So is there a high groundwater table there? I know the soils aren't great in that area, looking at the soil map.
I don't recall what was done with that. That's something that Public Works would have looked at. And in their most recent comments, they didn't express a concern about it. So my,
Okay.
I guess, presumption would be that they're not concerned with it.
Yeah, I was just wondering why it was brought up.
It's a good catch, Sharon, thank you. Anything else, Sharon?
No, nothing.
Nick?
I'll reserve my question for applicant.
Okay, thanks. Hubie?
No, I'm good.
I have no questions more for staff either. Thank you. Applicants, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
If you would mind, for the record, just addressing who you are and where you live and what you're doing here, we'd appreciate it.
Yep. Brian Courier, Larry Burke Civil Associates, 13 Corporate Drive, Essex, project engineer.
Brian's the one that doesn't need a microphone to be heard on.
Not usually.
Yes, sir.
John Leo, I live in Essex.
Yeah, thanks. So tell us a bit about your project.
So as Kent said, we're here for final subdivision, and I agree with staff that it's a pretty clean application at this point. We didn't leave preliminary with too many question marks, but the ones we had primarily was DPW comments, and there was concern about how close we could get trees to the right-of-way, if you remember that discussion. So we moved the rec path from the north side of the road to the south side of the road. That's the biggest change that's in front of you that allowed us to move the water line a little bit closer to the, or within the right-of-way. So the associated easement is about 7.5 feet from the right-of-way. That's as close as we were able to get the trees in working with Public Works and their standards and their preferences as far as how they like to see a public road laid out. But it's still 8 lots. Now our rec path continues all the way to Route 15. I don't believe it preliminary did. And the road generally hasn't changed either. That's about 1,400 linear feet. Dedicated, well, would be dedicated to the town of Essex following warranty periods and inspections of the Public Works Department. So we have read the staff report and the conditions of approval. And I don't have any edits. The 20-foot easement within the 50-foot buffer is acceptable to the Leos. We would just mind that we are planting a cedar hedge there, so when it is used, which I think we agree is well down the road, if it's ever used, those cedar trees will be quite substantial at that point in time. So as long as there's verbiage that that hedge isn't, impacted in some way, we don't have an issue with the 50 or the 20-foot easement within the 50-foot buffer. That's fine with the applicant. And that was one of the approval conditions, but I don't have any modifications, changes. Regarding the discussion about the groundwater table, that was a comment made by someone from the public at Sketch. I forget who it was, but we have stormwater infiltration trenches. We also have in-ground septic systems here. We have all the test pits we did for those facilities on page 6 of your plan set. We don't believe the water table is an issue here. Encountering groundwater is something that you deal with from time to time in the construction world. A lot of times there's dewatering methods in order to deal with it, but it's certainly not at the surface. We do have some wetlands just barely sneaking over onto our property, which would be in the south, the southern corner really. And we're showing a 50-foot buffer associated with that wetlands, but that's the only place where the groundwater gets near the surface, I would say. The rest of it, we have enough clearance for an in-ground water septic system, which you need 3 feet of separation, so that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah, as a member, someone from the public brought it up as something we should investigate. We did by doing test pits for our stormwater system and the wastewater facilities, which are required by the state, so we're comfortable with that issue.
Thanks. QB, questions?
A couple, your proposed septics, they're going to be mound systems anyway, right?
No, we got in-ground.
Oh, really? So you did perk there then?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's mapped Adams sand. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The cedar trees that are planted there, those are the kind that the deer don't eat? There's
Yeah,
a couple different
yeah.
kinds of cedar trees. One of them they like and there's one they don't.
Yeah. Happy to take any input from the town tree warden, but we're just specking
Yeah.
a cedar hedge, so we don't have anything.
Anyway, there's one they like and one they don't like, but. And also on the upper right, the easement for the proposed 20-foot wide and water line easement. So is the water line going to be extended all the way? Because you're making the tap back here.
Yeah, so there's a water main on Leo Drive that the Leos extended
Right.
to their shop years ago. So we're going to take that dead end line and we're extending it through our road. But as the road ends in a cul-de-sac, the water line keeps going to Saxon Hill Road.
Oh,
Saxon Hill Road has a water line T at the Deer Crossing Saxon Hill intersection, so Public Works is pretty
Oh.
excited to loop that system.
Okay, so you're making a loop there. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I hadn't realized that the water line.
Yeah, on the subdivision plan, it's kind of under that emergency access, or
Yeah.
it's associated with that emergency
Oh,
access,
okay.
which will
Yep.
allow for it to, access can be maintained year-round
Yep.
through that.
No, that's all right. Nice, complete application.
Yeah?
Nick, questions?
Request for Kent, maybe, could you pull up a map that would show the 8-foot wide shared use path easement and the 10-foot wide gravel drive? That's particularly for our folks online.
It's taking a while for it to load here.
No worries. Thank you.
So where the path is located is it starts over here by Route 15, goes along the road here, and now instead of hopping over to the other side of the road, as it was shown in preliminary, it's now staying on this side of the road, which to me seems like a much improved alignment for users of the trail. Continues along the road here, gets to the cul-de-sac, goes across, and then it shares where the emergency access route would also be, which is also on top of that water line. It comes over here and would connect in with Saxon Hill Road. Which then also for trail users, if they follow southward, they can go back into the Saxon Hill natural area that's to the south.
Right.
And it also allows people over in that area, including residents, if they're biking or walking, instead of having to go out to Route 15 right here, they have that access route that they can go as an alternate to Route 15.
Brian, Kent just did your work for you.
Sounds good. I like
I
it.
just wanted it to be explained a little bit better, with a visual, so folks online and certainly myself could have a better understanding. Thank you, Kent. Appreciate it.
Good idea.
Anything further, Nick?
That's it.
Sharon? Sharon, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, great, thanks. I have no questions for this application. In which case, let's open it up to the interested parties and public. Do we have anybody here in the room that would have a question or comment that would like to make? Certainly. If you guys don't mind, maybe I'll just ask one of you to step aside so that she can come up and use the microphone. We'd appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Good evening. As always, state who you
Hi.
are.
Good evening. Ann Miller,
Yep.
60 Sydney Drive, Essex, Vermont. I actually have two different questions. One is, how is there a waiver for the 2,050-foot road? I was under the impression, based on the memo from November of 2025, that there isn't a broad authority to grant waivers in this process, and that I'm reading here only permits dimensional waivers, like setbacks and lot sizes. So how is it that a road of 2,050 feet is being approved in this application?
Thank you. It's actually a question that I had when I first saw the packet as well. So there's two reasons why, and if I correct me if I'm make a misstep here, Kent, but there's two reasons why. One, this was already approved at sketch for this to begin with, which was prior to that notification that waivers were no longer. So it's already an approval piece that's in history that is not before us. It's not a question before us at this time. Second reason is that within this zoning, within the zone itself, we are allowed to have, there are certain parameters, there are waivers that are available to us that are separate and above like what that waiver clause is talking about. So it's within this particular district that we're able to do that.
Okay, so if I were looking for these in the zoning regulations, I should be looking at the industrial zoning regs.
Industrial
And-
scenic overlay. Yep. Go ahead.
The, for this particular application, it's a subdivision application.
Right.
So the subdivision application or the subdivision regulations are different than the zoning regulations. So that memo was about the zoning regulations. In the subdivision regulations, it does spell out that it begins with a waiver section, and it says that following procedures apply to all subdivisions, and then it provides a waiver process for that. So I understand that it's really awkward having two separate sets
Right.
of regulations, and we are working to put these in one set of regulations. But that's the most straightforward, I guess, way of looking at this as being a different kind of situation than the memo related to.
Okay, so to that, because I am here talking, could you just tell me are you reading the section of the regulation right now related to subdivisions? Is it like, 518? I just want to be able to look it up when I go home.
Sure,
that's all.
it's on page 3.
Page 3. Okay, I will look that up. Thank you.
Yep.
Just make my life a little easier. I just wanted, so I'm here as a public member of the public. I did want to share with you that I am a member of the Economic Development Commission, and as a part of the agenda, we met this morning and we discussed the different applications and how are they positively or negatively, or how are they impacting or helping the economic development of the town. And we didn't have a chance to have a vote. We have a bunch of new members, and it just wasn't like, there's not enough experience yet on the board to really come up with it. But I wanted to share with you the comments that came up. And I think one of the things that I think it's really important for all the landowners, because I understand that these applications are making money for the landowner, and that's their business, and I appreciate that. The other issue, though, is that we need to be increasing the economic base of the town. And if you look at kind of the hierarchy of where economic development is driven, and I know this is the DRB and you work within the confines of the application, but I just want to remind everyone that storage units produce some of the lowest economic development for the town, followed by warehouses. And then after that, it kind of ladders up, right? And so you have mixed use and office buildings. And so as we think about a town and the town plan, and I'll make this comment to the Planning Commission as well, but we need to be looking at things that are beyond warehouses. And even as we build a warehouse, to think about how that warehouse is built, because, for example, the pickleball facility in the RPDI can't put in a sink because the way the warehouse was built, they have to drill through the concrete to connect to the plumbing. So there's just things that we can do to make these warehouse structures more diverse so that we can get more economic activity for the town. That's all.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else here in the room? Seeing no hands, how about online? Oh, we do have a hand online. So Chair recognizes Gil Allen. Can you unmute and turn your camera on, and feel free to let me know if you agreed with the pledge. Did I even give the pledge?
No, you didn't.
The pledge.
I don't think we did the pledge, but
Yeah, let's do that for us right now. Let's
think
take
we
care
did.
of that.
Anything you said prior to this?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Those of you that are here in the room, as well as those online who have any intention to speak, if you would please raise your hand and swear, and you know why I didn't do it? Because I didn't even put it down here. That the testimony that you are about to give or have given this evening about the items that are before us are the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to the best of your knowledge, and under the pains and penalties of perjury. Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, Gil, if it's not Gil, then who's
It's
talking?
Lisa, actually. So I was at one of these meetings, I forget which one it was, and residents had asked to widen from I think it was like a 20-foot buffer or 25-foot buffer to a 50-foot buffer, just to make it so there was more of a natural fence between residents and lighting and any noise that might come from these buildings. So I guess I'm just confused, if you would put a path through there, then you don't have a 50-foot buffer anymore to protect the residents that live there from light pollution or noise from these buildings. So I don't understand why you would put a path through the 50-foot buffer.
Sure, that's a fair question. I think that was the point that I was trying to make with Kent as well, is that it's a natural path, not a motorized or bike path that's going through there. And it's and all we're talking about today is an easement. We're not talking about actually putting the path in. So understanding that what the question is, my understanding about the easement is that the easement would allow for a foot trail, perhaps, and allow to the flexibility to go around existing trees. It's not there to clear out what's in the 50-foot buffer. Is that correct?
That's right. It would just be to give the town an opportunity in the future if they wanted to go forward with something like that. And my guess is any kind of project like that that would go forward would have its own opportunity for the public to speak one way or the other about it.
Right.
To be able to get input on, is that something we want to do or don't want to do, or other ways that you might want to add more vegetation to shield somewhere, or the other characteristics that would go along with that if it was done in the future. But at this point, since it is a private property area, we're just trying to make sure that we would have an opportunity in the future to put a trail in there for the public if we wanted to do that in the future.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. Also, I don't think we gave do you need our address?
Didn't hear the address, but we'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, 5 Whitetail Lane.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I have one other question.
Sure.
So
You would be Gil, correct?
I would be Gil, yeah. Thanks. I was reading through the history of this parcel ownership and handoff, and it appears that it was handed off to the Leos from Dave Whitcomb in 1988 or 86. At that time, was that 30-acre parcel entirely zoned commercial? Because it didn't say that in there.
I wouldn't know that off the top of my head. Perhaps,
It just,
Brian, perhaps if you're the applicant, but you may have done some research about that.
I was born the same year the Leos acquired the parcel, so I don't go back that far, but Essex doesn't change their zoning very often. So my guess, if you're asking me to guess, is
well, I don't know that they don't change their zoning very often. We've seen a lot of parcels that have been purchased with stipulations to stay natural, and certain portions of them become commercial and some become zoned as protected, and that area remained undeveloped for a very long period of time. So I'm just curious. I mean, Mr. Leo would know. Was that entire parcel zoned commercial when he purchased it? We're subdividing this into 8 industrial commercials, into 8 industrial commercial lots. I'm just wondering.
I think the takeaway is it's zoned industrial now. We're applying for the.
When was it
subdivision
changed?
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think that's relevant. I think it's zoned the way it is now, and we're conforming to the zoning regs as they exist today.
I can certainly appreciate the question as to when, but it doesn't pertain to this particular application. But I understand why you're asking and what you're looking for. I can tell you it wasn't yesterday. It hasn't been in the last couple of years. It's certainly something that's been on the books for some time.
you know, I don't mean to be a crook in Mr. Leo's craw. He's a local businessman. He does business, and I've had him do business for me. He's a good guy. It's just that what I'm concerned about is a pattern I've seen since I've lived in Essex for the last 25 years. That people are purchasing land zoned as agricultural, and somehow over it, they just wait it out for 20 years, and eventually they get it zoned commercial. And we're taking properties that are being bought for a penny at zoned as agricultural, and ultimately over time, through whoever they know in the planning committee, they get it zoned commercial, and they're making millions off of it. And when
I'll take a little bit of a stance about the fact that it's not who you know. I will take a little bit of a stance. It's not who you know, and that's not how the zoning regulations change. But I would recommend that if you have questions about the zoning of it, perhaps the planning commission would be a very good place to start, and ask those questions there. Community development can certainly let you know when the zoning happened. My guess is, off the top of my head, is that it probably came about when the town plan designated the areas of the Saxon Hill area as part of the industrial. That's my guess. But I understand I understand your question. I feel like the comment about who you know is not accurate and not fair. But from there, I would just recommend that you double check with either the community development office about when the zones were changed, and if they were changed, and have questions about that, about the policy of changing zoning. I would go to planning commission.
And that was 1972.
I'll let my statement stand as it is. Thanks.
Yeah, so it was, I think that's right. I think that the first zoning occurred in 1972.
That was when IBM was thought to come across 117 and take the Saxon Hill area. That
Yeah.
zoning change was 1972.
Yeah. So, further comments online? Seeing none. Any other comments here in person? Seeing none. I would take a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Nick. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hubie. Further discussion? All those in favor of closing the public portion of this hearing, please say aye.
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 Board members, Sharon, do you have enough information at this point, or do you have a few more questions for either staff or applicant?
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. You're comfortable with being able to vote and make a decision this evening?
Yeah, we're going to discuss it a bit, right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that you have the
Yes,
info that you
yes, I do.
yeah. Nick?
Same.
Okay. Hubie?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, let's have a little discussion. Sharon?
I did have the same concern about the waiver amendment, but I have to assume that it's legal as it is. I mean, I may have some questions later. In general, I don't think we should have a regulation that is able to waive all regulations, but I think at this point I have to accept that it's legal as it stands, because I haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah, it was a question that I had asked as well, and
And I am very concerned about that particular provision, but
Yeah.
I don't think we can apply it now.
agreed. I mean, it was, like I said, it was part of the initial application that was approved 5-0 last July. But I'm heartened by the fact that, for two reasons why, the dead end is a concern, no question being about the size of the road, but I am heightened by the fact that both fire is okay with it, as well as I am very happy to see the easement or the access road that is put in. It's not necessarily a public
Yeah, and
road, but it does allow.
And in this situation, I think putting it through would cause more issues on the road that it
It would,
connects
right,
to.
and I think as I looked at the notes, because I wasn't present on the July meeting, I looked through the notes, and it seemed like the board at the time was more concerned about not having more truck traffic dump out onto Saxon Hill. So that was the reason why this particular road was okay. It was okay for the waiver to be shortened up with that and the fire department feeling comfortable with having emergency access. That certainly makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, but that's just me.
And I also am concerned with how many warehouses we're approving, but I think we can address that at site plan.
I don't want to do the applicant's job, but we're approving an industrial park site plan. We're not approving what's going in there at this point in time.
Exactly.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's warehouses that are going in. We don't
Right.
have any.
So what I'm saying is we can address that when
Correct.
they come in.
Correct. Yep. Any other further comments or questions?
No,
or-
none.
Nick?
Nothing.
Hubie?
No, I'm good. I think it was a very good package, nice and concise and not a lot of issues,
No.
which is good.
It was nice to see something on Flatland. So,
And they are doing the utilities underground, which I noticed in the conditions.
Yep.
Which I'm very happy with.
yeah. There was a comment that was made by applicant in regards to the hedge, on the conditions of approval when the town was going to ask for the easement within the buffer. And, I want to make sure that I'm recognizing that the applicant was kind enough to grant is willing to grant the easement, but requested that, the hedges or trees, if they need to be moved or attended to, later on, would be taken care of by town. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, just the hedge be maintained.
Be maintained.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm not sure that we can codify that at this point because it's an easement only, but,
Not maintain the hedge, but replace the hedge if we.
well, maintain it. If the easement goes in, then.
I see.
If the easement is used, right now, we're asking for the easement, but the easement was used by the town,
Mhm.
that the town would then maintain the hedge that's being placed.
Sounds
By
reasonable.
maintain, I
that's-
mean not cut down.
Right.
Not like trim it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maintain is maintain, so let's be careful about that, because,
Sustained would be a better word, probably.
Yeah.
Sustain, yeah, and it has no impact on us. It's more a comment for the neighbors, that's all.
yeah. So then I would just recommend that, for my thinking, I would want to update that, and I forget which number it was. Copy, title, zoning plan. Where is that condition? Plantings, pavement. Town. Kent, do you remember where that was?
Are you looking to
looking
put
for
it
the
in
easement.
in the
In
condition?
condition, yeah.
Yeah, it's I think right in the very beginning, the third condition.
Oh, yep, you're right, okay. Sharon, do you have a draft maybe in mind of how that might look?
Of the condition about the hedges?
About the hedges, yeah.
I do not.
Um,
I'm still not quite sure what our goal is.
Are
Are we going to take over complete maintenance of the hedges if we put the trail in, or are we going to?
I think if I'm correct in understanding, it was more that we're not gonna rip them out.
We won't impact.
This town will not impact the plantings that have been provided by the owner. How's that?
I would suggest that we'll sustain the buffering provided by
Yeah.
the
I
landscape.
think that's fair, because then we might,
And
the
then
town
because
could
that-
decide to
That's
replace it
right.
with something
They
else.
can give it
Yep.
alternatives as to what you might do. You might trim, you might replant, whatever. But
Yep.
sustain the shielding provided by the landscaping.
And are we going to write that it's a cedar hedge?
I would say plantings,
Plantings, okay.
because that allows shelter.
And those are the ones that the deer don't eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use the,
That's a real thing, okay?
I know.
You're gonna look it up, I'm sure.
Wrap them in burlap, right?
Well,
town,
you've seen those cedar trees, they're pruned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they-
Oh, yeah.
sustain
Oh, yeah. No, that's a real thing.
what were you saying, Hubie, sustain the what? The
Plantings.
Sustain the plantings that are providing the
Shield.
shielding.
Shield. Let me try this on for size and see what you guys think. Should the town use the easement, the town shall sustain the plantings that shield the neighborhoods or shield the adjacent properties. Thoughts? Don't make me call on you.
I think that's probably good to get the easement language going in the right direction, because we'll need some easement language created. So,
Mhm.
but I think that gives
That's a start.
that gives enough direction that we can go forward with that.
Okay.
I mean, certainly the intention is not to damage the functioning of the visual buffer that's happening
Right.
there, and to try to keep the trees intact to the greatest degree possible
Yep.
in there. And certainly the intention would be to work with the property owners to do something also that they would be happy with and pleased to have
Yep.
on their properties.
Great. Okay,
But I think that this is enough so that we
That's
could get
enough
the
for-
easement language going.
okay.
Yep.
All right, so we'll have that amendment. Any other comments or discussion, questions? Hubie?
I'm looking at the conditions, and on line 380 and 381.
Yep. Electronic copy.
Blah, 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 have been revised, shall be submitted to the Community Development Department.
Instead of in geo, no.
So it should be, shall be submitted to the Community Development Department.
Yep. Got that, Kent?
Yep, got it. Thanks.
Anything else, Hubie?
No?
Nick?
I'm good.
Sharon?
No?
I would say all those in favor of approving the, make sure I have it listed, the final subdivision for John and Carolyn Leo, with the updated and amended proposed conditions, please say aye.
Is there a motion?
Oh, you're right. I'm just getting so excited. Thank you.
Okay, so excited.
Can I get a motion to approve the final subdivision for John and Carolyn Leo?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Hubie. I'll second it. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the final subdivision for John and Carolyn Leo, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Painless entry.
Well, I guess I made it more painful than necessary. Okay. Next item. We are done with applications. We are now up to our business items. Check number 7. 7A is to review our communication policy. So this started with a conversation we started having at the end of one of our meetings back in June. We pushed it off till now because we wanted to wait through till we got through the July appointment of officers and all of that. This was something that I had originally brought up, and I want to make sure that I'm clear about what my intentions are about reviewing the communication policy. And specifically, the purpose of this conversation really is to try to have a conversation with us as a board about perhaps adding to our procedures a piece that I feel is kind of missing, which is just which is really more about not etiquette so much as the way that we would discuss applications or decisions outside of this room when we're here. My purpose about this really isn't to correct or to address any issues that we've had. We really haven't. But my thought is that it would be good for us to have something that's in place as part of our general procedures, not for just this board, but going forward, because we're still a really new board. We're still basically taking baby steps. And I think it would be a helpful policy or helpful direction to give to boards going in the future as well. So I don't mind kicking it off, just stating that I did do some research and added in this packet. There's a piece that's about like etiquette of boards of directors that was added in here, which I thought was kind of helpful. And I'm open to interpretations, or I'm open to addressing how we would want to do that. But the first things first is let's kind of have a conversation about whether or not we need it and how we feel about having something in there. I think it's helpful, and know for a fact that because Stephanie's not here, I'm not sure that I would want to make any decisions about this tonight. I think I would want to make sure that Stephanie was present to have a conversation with us, but this is a great way to just kind of kick it off, so. It's a long-winded way of saying, what do you think?
Well, I was, that the select board already has a communication policy here.
They do,
so-
yep,
so-
and we have it in, and it was
Right.
included in our packet.
And it has a very good statement, which I think you could easily follow without even having our procedures. Doesn't say that we can't talk about decisions afterwards, but we have to be very clear that it was the, what the board had decided. So here, right here on Roman numeral 1, it says, "The select board has taken the position blank," and that could be
Yep.
substituted with DRB.
Yep.
My position is blank, so that's not berating anybody.
Yep.
It's saying that, you were in the minority.
Yep,
And then the other thing, I think that memo had some really good points, being on time is good.
yeah,
But I did look up who Karen Knight was. She is talking about, what did I write down? The etiquette tips for boards of directors running Canadian social impact organizations.
yeah,
So that rule is sort of to protect corporate solidarity, or like it would work for a bank or, a trading firm or something, or a corporation. But for us, we're ruled by municipal procedures and open meeting law, so we have to be more transparent. And we don't have to all be like, we're all for it. So we should never just, I think we all know this, berate the members of our board for the decision, but I think just like the select board says, here's what we decided,
yep.
and my position is, I don't think we should be stifled from, and no one ever asks anyway, like, how many times do your friends or family or people of the community?
Only the hot button topics, right? Only the hot ones.
It's like,
Well, yeah,
I think it's happened to me once.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's just not going to happen. I don't think it's a big worry.
I think the one area where, to me, I think it's obvious that if there was a decision that was made in a deliberative session or an executive session, that then, for example, if we had a vote 3-1 on a particular subject, okay, that then you would need to be careful about saying, well, I voted this way.
Legally, you have to do that.
What's that?
We've discovered recently that legally you have to say how you voted.
yeah, you have
We
to,
made a big mistake, not big, we made a mistake with Amazon not revealing who voted.
In deliberative sessions or executive sessions, you have to reveal how you voted?
We can't vote in an executive session.
yeah,
But-
executive
Okay, I stand
executives
corrected.
for conversational.
I can forward you the statute.
Okay.
Oh, that's terrible. I hate when people do that.
Oh, okay, I stand corrected.
Shame on
because
me.
I thought that, I
I did too.
I stand corrected. Okay, yeah.
I did too, but I looked up the law and I sent it to Catherine and she said it was clear, which is why we now,
Okay, yeah.
but we can't say we can also say why we voted, but we can't like talk about the whole discussion in deliberative session. We can't
Right.
just say like, he
Yeah,
said
no,
this.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, we have plenty of opportunity during our discussions and when we're doing our vote. And you're right, I think we likely should have announced how the vote went after we had that one deliberative session that we did the vote.
But we were new.
But yes, we were brand new and we were undergone.
It's stressful.
Yes, but from my perspective, how I will handle myself is always going to be, I will do exactly what this statement says from the select board that says the DRB has taken this position. That was our vote, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Whether I'm for or against it doesn't matter to me because my opinion is going to be clearly stated in all the minutes of the meetings.
Right.
And all video anyway. So if somebody needs more information than that, they can go to the minutes and they can go to the web if they want to get
Right.
my opinion. So that's and really, I would be happy to take like this section of I'm all for the idea of taking this section from the select board and adding it to.
That would be helpful.
I think it would be a great idea. I think, and again, it's not about this board. It's not about anything that's going on now. It's about setting the future boards for success.
And you could do this whole thing here that says, in instances where no vote has been taken, no member of the board shall express an opinion as if it were the position
Of the entire board. Yep, yeah. We could certainly take that whole section.
Yep,
Um,
sorry.
and just insert DRB for wherever select board is.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's great. QB, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I feel that you should have the opportunity to express your position, other than just whether you voted A or nay.
Yep.
And should be able to express your reasons why. So, but as it says, I guess in the comments from the etiquette
Yep.
is, have some respect for the board and board members and so on. And I think
Yeah.
that goes without
And I
saying.
hope I think we all do that, I hope.
Yeah.
I think so, and that's, I mean,
Did you raise your eyebrows?
Well, technically, yes, I did, but it didn't mean anything.
the flip side of that is that if anyone is out there publicly, and I don't think any of us do, but if anyone was out there publicly droning on about how they disagreed or was so pro a decision that goes out there, it then puts a target on any other board member who may or may not have said the same thing.
Exactly, and
So-
that's what I was kind of driving at
Right.
with, if you were revealing what your position was, and it was a 3-4 vote, others could figure out easily, okay, apparently they voted the other way, or
Right.
whatever.
But since we have to reveal that
Since we
anyway.
have to reveal it anyway, it's kind of a moot point, but
good- good
hey, you
point.
want to find out how everybody voted? Go look up the minutes or
Yep.
whatever. So,
Right.
if you want to have an idle sidewalk conversation, and you're really invested in it, you need to do some research. Just don't
Yeah.
have,
Yep.
idle conversation with me and get cranking on something that you could find in the
Yeah.
public documents.
Yep.
So,
I'm going to be afraid to talk to you in the supermarket.
I mean, I think adding that number one or one from public communication from the select board into our procedures, I think is a great idea. And that's certainly a great start.
Are we waiting for Stephanie to make
We
the
will,
motion?
yeah. I'm saying it's just a great idea, and perhaps we have a pretty light schedule, I think, next month as well, so maybe we could look at, and I believe, as I recall, Sharon, you wanted to revisit the procedures anyway. I think last time hopefully we met in, it was July or maybe it was June, but you would comment about wanting to relook at the procedures, so.
Right, do you think we need like a couple of months, so we're not rushed to?
Well, I mean, if we just bring it up, we can actually have conversations about
Okay.
what it is. We're not making any changes next month, so.
Oh, okay.
I would just say, we could have the opportunity to have a conversation about the procedures next month in that light schedule, just kick that off.
Sure.
Sure. That sound good to you, Ruby?
yeah, yep.
Nick,
Fine.
is that good? All right. Kent, can we make sure that, that in the September meeting that we add that to the agenda, it's just review and discuss procedures?
Mm-hmm.
Great. And then, can you also add, potentially insert, public communication .1 from the town's communication policy?
Okay.
Or at least the first paragraph, we don't need the rest of it, but we don't need the whole thing. But select board down to where it says board members, I think just that section. It's on page 79 of your packet, page 1 of the policy. The select board may choose to speak as a unified group on official matters. Select board members may also choose to speak as individual members, and speaking as an individual member, then on behalf of the entire board, the member should endeavor to clearly make the distinction. For example, board members should consider utilizing the following phrase or a similar one: the select board has taken the position of X, my position is Y. Instances where no vote has been taken or no member of the board should express an opinion as if it were the position of the entire board. So we would just basically strip that and just insert DRB wherever select board is.
We're going to include that whole page then, right? The intent.
do we need the whole page?
No, because
I don't
I
think so.
think at the bottom it tells us what we're supposed to do anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's codified in the
In our.
VSA.
Yeah.
You know, it is odd that they say select board. They should have just had that for all of us.
They should have, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to, that's what I was trying to
Maybe
look
that should be
through.
changed, and then we
because-
wouldn't have to do it.
Right, it really should actually be like a town-wide.
Because it's so
communication
hard
policy
when, if you
as a-
think about it, when all these different committees, we have different things, wouldn't
Yep.
it be better if the select board just took that word out and it was for all of us? And then
Yep.
and then we're not looking at our thing and we make a typo and,
Right, right, well, this is, and
so do you
I
think it'd
think
be
it was,
something we
could be something that should be pushed up to all boards. The select board should
Right.
push it out to all boards.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just trying to look,
I think it was
look
meant to
through
be
here
all boards.
because in the beginning, so this is the town of Essex communication policy, and right at the beginning, it says that that this policy applies to all elected and appointed board, committee, and commission members. So it
Yeah.
seems like this already applies
it does.
It
to
just-
everybody, but then it singles out
And I think it
select
was a
board
mistake.
in the beginning there. So I'm almost feeling like maybe this is what should be edited
And just
so
get that
that
updated for everybody.
it just is clear, because right at the top, it says it applies to everybody.
Yep.
So, anyways,
works too.
let me look into that and see the
Okay.
easiest way
There might,
to do
there
it.
potentially might be some differential between an appointed and an elected.
Yeah, they go on to that in the next page, but it has to do with responses to public comments, where,
I just don't think they meant
Um,
that, oh, here,
anyways, let me look at this before the next meeting and just see the easiest way to do this. Either this thing gets updated or your individual procedures could get updated.
Okay.
It does seem like it would be a good idea to just have consistency among all the different boards and committees instead of everybody having to have this written separately and in somewhat different
Agreed.
ways in all their own procedures.
Agreed. Yep,
Yeah, I'll look into it.
okay.
So are there other boards or committees that have this language already codified in their operations?
I
That we
Maybe,
could
I just don't know if it's really come
apply
up.
here?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other boards and committees have. They might already have it in there. They might reference this document. It might just be assumed that this is what everybody's supposed to do, even though it says
Like good old-
select
Right.
board. It might just be assumed
Yeah.
that that's just what you do.
Yep.
that'd be an easy change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Anything further on item A? Sharon, Nick, Hubie?
No,
No.
Okay. Let's move on to B. B is the process, we were going to discuss the process to review a legal decision. This actually came up, Sharon, you were good enough to ask, I think, for a copy of a legal decision from community staff or community development staff. And what came out of that was the way that we need to be able to, if we want to see an actual legal decision. Kent, I think you had that shared, correct? What was
Yeah.
what is the way that's,
So the result is that the DRB and other boards should follow the select board procedure for reviewing legal correspondence, either from the town attorney or VLCT, in that those legal correspondences would be reviewed only during an executive session. So that would give you an opportunity to see the contents of whatever that is, but that would be the appropriate
because we had a
place to
couple
look.
recently, like the waiver thing. I would love to see the actual
Yep.
Yeah,
opinion.
and during the executive session, you may find, oh, this is fine for the public. That's part of our discussion. This is fine for the public. We could share it with the applicant. We could share it with
Who decides
whoever
that, though? Us?
we want to.
it's anything that, from my understanding, is it's anything that we get directly from either the town attorney or from VLCT.
No, I understand that, but who decides whether it's no longer privileged?
Oh, that's a great
I mean,
question.
I think it would depend on the case. My guess is probably staff would be able to get a direction then from the
VLCT.
attorney if it's something that we wanted to. I mean, it might just be obvious
Mhm.
for whatever the thing is, but I think the first look at it, it would be assumed that you'd do it in an executive session.
Right.
But also before it even got to that point, depending on what the circumstances are, it might already be decided, well, this is something for the public anyways.
So maybe we can put,
Well, if it's a legal decision, it is public, isn't it?
It's legal advice that we're talking about.
Oh, okay, so
There's
there's
a
a,
difference,
so,
there's a difference between like a,
well, the way this is worded, it says legal decision. Are we talking about legal
no, not
decision
like a
or
court,
legal advice?
not like a court
yeah,
decision.
not like, not like the results of you know, an appeal or something like that. That would be a legal
Yeah,
decision.
that should be
Yeah.
clarified,
That
because,
should be clarified, yeah.
because, yeah, so
Yeah,
legal.
the way that I
Legal
was
advice.
the way that I was understanding the question is not that it's literally a decision that was already made, but this was some kind of legal correspondence that's happening back and forth, whether it's an opinion or thoughts or ideas or
Right.
information
Advice that we had,
or anything, advice.
Advice
that-
or opinion.
What it is the just like as if we were talking about other like staff issues or other things that would be executive session related issues, that would be sort of the most obvious spot that you would take that. But again, it depends on the unique situation. But
Yep.
I think that following that procedure is the easiest and most straightforward, and that's what the select board does, and then we could have consistency with that process.
So that,
I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I'm assuming that would be pertain to legal opinions that would be provided to us by an opposing attorney, for example, not necessarily from town attorneys.
I wouldn't think that that's the case because the opposing attorney is providing it to us for their benefit, for the benefit of their applicant,
Yeah.
right? That's something that this is more specific about, we have a question about something and we ask the town attorney and then the town attorney has provided an answer. We get the answer simulated through ComDev staff. If we want to see the actual verbiage of what it is, we would go to executive session to see what that actual verbiage is of what the attorney said
Yeah,
to us.
and
It's
here-
specific to us.
And here comes the opposing attorney with their opinion about the same question. You see, I guess that's what I'm saying is,
That would
But
be
that would be,
that would be like an application, which we're not even supposed to, I don't think, make legal decisions and, or.
right, we're not allowed to make legal.
Can I give an example?
oh, no, no.
Like we didn't know whether we could use waivers or not. And the VLCT and our town attorney both had legal opinions, which Catherine summarized, but we didn't get to see those. So I'd like to see them. And then there was another one, whether we could have a dissenting or a minority opinion within a decision letter. And then we got a legal opinion on that. But we were told we weren't allowed to, it would create liability
Right,
based on a legal opinion, but we didn't get to see that. So
Right.
we could see that in executive session. It wouldn't be anything contentious, like we make a decision to approve or deny an application, and
Right.
then the opposing attorney for the interested party says, here's a whole bunch of legal cases.
yeah, it's really about.
Those are public.
It's really about if we as a board have asked for a clarification or advice, and that advice has come back from either VLCT or from the town attorney, specifically to the question that we asked. That's private client privilege information, so it's for us only, and not for the general public, which is why it would be in executive session. It's not a place that an opposing attorney would send their information or would hear of what that legal opinion was and decide that, the actual legal opinion was and decide that they want to contest that it's not a public knowledge. It's really about, getting the documentation or the actual language that was provided to us as the legal advice.
Can I just add something?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess I would say that anything that's applicable to an executive session is what we're talking about. So some things that are applicable according to state statute would be if we were talking about contracts, labor relations, arbitration, mediation, grievances, tax grievances, any kind of pending civil litigation or prosecution to which the public body may be a party of it, any kind of confidential attorney-client communications or any kind of legal services, any kind of negotiation or securing real estate purchases or lease options, appointments of employees, disciplinary actions, imminent perils to public safety, records that might be exempt from public access, academic records, testimony, information related to pharmaceuticals, security, cybersecurity, emergency response, confidential business, attendance, so there's a whole list of things that are applicable to executive session.
Right.
And you might go into the executive session and say, this is fine, well, it's not, because of the circumstances, you could talk about it somewhere else. But that's the right place to start because of the nature of the thing
And the
that
caveat.
you're talking about.
The caveat is all those things are appropriate for executive session if their release would harm the town or the public.
Right.
there's
So
like
this
another-
this is a first, that's the place you would go first before you would discuss it in the public, and then you'd say, oh, we should have talked about that privately. You go there first so that you understand what the circumstances of the thing is, and maybe you want to keep it private, maybe it doesn't need to be kept private, but you at least started private with it
Right.
to begin with, because you don't want to create some harm by having it
Right.
public. So there's a whole list of things, the
Which is a
state
whole,
statute.
which is a whole different topic versus like executive session is a whole different topic than what item B here is, which was really about the legal decision, the legal advice that we're receiving as, from our attorneys, from the town's attorneys. So, which specifically, the way for us to get the actual copies of the legal advice that we're being provided by VLCT or our town attorney is to go into executive session to see it.
That's right. And the question came up about, well, what if the applicant's attorney provided something
Right.
to us? Well, if it related to some kind of civil litigation, then, well, it might be applicable to
Right.
be in executive session. If it's part of the application package, well, then it's already public knowledge. So it would kind of depend on the particular
Yep.
thing. Really, if it related to litigation, probably it wouldn't be coming to the DRB anyways, because that would be going to an attorney and not to you.
Yep.
But it depends on it, and you might want to just see it to have information about it, even if you weren't doing something directly with it, but it would depend on the situation.
I'd also like to ask the question, if we're taking a legal opinion and using it to guide DRB procedures or policy, wouldn't that have to be a public document? Because how can we use it to form
Why?
a rule if we don't have it out in public? Like, that, for instance, that a minority opinion would create liability for the town to put it in the decision letter, but we actually don't have the opinion to guide us.
I think for the public portion for our decisions, we can state that upon our legal advice and leave it at that. And if it went to an appeal or there was a suit of any kind, then the attorneys would then battle it out. It wouldn't have anything to do with us.
No, I was just thinking when we're using it for our procedures, not for an application.
Well, I think as far as the procedures are concerned, I think those are built off from commonly practiced legal advice that VLCT and
That we
others-
see.
That's right. That's public. But that's like a procedural thing that here are the best recommended. And
Yeah.
and I think even as we went through our training last year, she was like, here we have recommendations. These are the kind of the best practices, but you create your own policy from there. So if we had a question about a procedure that we're putting in place and we want to know whether or not that's going to be an infraction on somebody's rights or is it against the law in any way,
Right.
then, and we wanted to read what that response was directly from VLCT or from our attorney, we would do that in executive session. And then if we wanted to broadcast that, it could, then we would.
Well, wasn't there something about when we did get one of those opinions from VLTC that that was provided to the town and cannot be shared by
Correct.
somebody else?
That is correct, because it was town advice.
Right, it was town advice,
Right.
town as the client, if you will, of
Right.
Vermont
We had a
cities and
similar
towns.
situation at a recent application where we had advice that was provided that I was able to read, but I couldn't share the actual document because it was a town document.
So in executive session, we could be reviewing said document, but
Correct.
not reveal its contents necessarily, only to say that.
Right, we could disseminate what
Right.
it said, but we can't Right.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yep,
Okay.
okay. How are we feeling about that? Is it more or worse? Is it,
Covered everything.
Well, I think it's pretty simple. If you're gonna get a legal opinion, you need to deal with it in an executive session.
correct?
Could we set a schedule, though, to see those two opinions that we have not seen?
Sure, I imagine we can set that up.
I thought that's what we're doing.
No, yeah, no, this was to talk about how the practice of it, but we certainly could add it to our next agenda. Sure,
Sure. Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Nick, do you have any issues with that?
Question, are these going to be regularly available for any opinion that we've requested upon the town staff to have an opinion ready for us and the board needs to go to executive decision? Or executive meeting?
It's a great question. So,
How are you going to have that information until next time?
well, we would have to ask for, it's a good point.
So we would always have to
That's a great
table
question.
or continue a meeting in order to get any opinion,
Oh.
and then later on,
Oh, you mean
presumably,
Based on
yeah,
that particular
Ken would,
application, right?
right.
Oh, that is a good
I'm sorry, I'm not following what the,
So we're in the
Question.
middle of, can I paraphrase?
If you can do a better job than I
I
did,
don't think
sure,
so.
go
Go ahead,
for
you
it.
do
No,
it.
no, 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 go ahead, go try it.
I want to see if I've got.
So if the board has a question that would pertain to any application, legal-wise, we would always essentially have to vote to continue to a next meeting in order to receive feedback from the town attorney or the LTC, and then we would have that information ready for us at that particular meeting.
that's right. If there was something that you needed from the town's attorney to help you make a decision, then we would need to continue the hearing until we had an opportunity to get that information. Hopefully, it would be in time for the next meeting. So you'd have, I mean, that would be my hope, is that we'd have it in time for the next one.
So that, we would have to consider the idea of, if we were going to request an opinion, that we would, when we continue to a date certain, we're accounting for the fact that we're gonna need to see
In the beginning, we'd have
in the
to-
beginning, we'd have to think about that, right? So
Right.
instead of next meeting, it might be 2 meetings from now, or 3 meetings from now, in order to have the opportunity for the opinion to come back to us, for us to review it,
Mhm.
and then act on it from there.
You could have a situation, however, where the town attorney was present at the hearing
I was
You
just saying
could.
that-
and
that
might
would help.
apply, be able to provide the opinion right then and
Yeah.
there in an executive session.
That would cost nothing, would it?
Yeah, well,
But, yeah, yeah, but we really have something so complex, so it would just happen,
yeah.
rarely, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does happen pretty rarely when it's, but it's a good question. That's a great thought. I hadn't even thought about it. What do you feel about that?
Well, that would have to be the process.
Yeah.
so
Continue.
I don't think anything we could do about it.
Yeah. Let's hope we keep getting easy applications. Okay. Are we good on this topic, or anything else we want to add to this? Hearing none. Let's move on to 8, other business. I took the liberty of adding 2 quick things in other business that I think everybody on the board would agree with. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a second, and I would love to formally thank Sharon Kelly, who, after 32 years of service, has retired from the town of Essex. Monday was her last day. I believe that her time was most recently spent as a zoning administrator and working closely with both the Planning Commission and now the DRB. I just want to note that I appreciate all the work that she had done in the town over the years and her assistance in working with us. So I'd like here to
Yeah.
Sharon.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
I'd also like to take a second and congratulate Brittany for she was appointed as to the posting of zoning administrator on Monday night at the select board meeting. I'm very excited to see Brittany move into that role and look forward to working with Brittany going forward. Not that we haven't worked with her before, but in this new role, it'll be pretty cool.
Great.
So. Great. Any other business?
I have a question for Ken. Maybe he knows that, Catherine said that Sharon is gonna continue as the health officer for a couple weeks or whatever, so is Brittany ultimately gonna become the health officer as well? Or are they gonna
I
have?
guess that's
somebody-
my understanding.
I believe when I watched the select board meeting, I think that was the appointment. But I think the reason why is that they have to, it's a state appointed thing.
Oh, okay,
And
so
it,
they.
and the person who has to appoint it in the state is away on vacation, I think.
Oh, okay.
So,
They gotta,
that's my understanding.
Yeah,
But-
okay.
So,
all right.
it's not a town piece,
Yeah.
there's an overlap that has to happen, so. Which is great. that She'll take on both as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
That's the fun part.
Any other business? Kent? You have none?
No, nothing from me.
Board members, any other business?
No.
Proposed executive and/or deliberative session, can we make sure that the minutes say there is none?
Yes.
And for the reading file, we just had the updated schedule, which is looking a little light at the moment, so.
So nothing to add that the one on Center Road there, they keep this, they have some particular reason why they're not moving forward?
No, 58 is on our,
The-
58's on our,
Mhm.
on our agenda
Yeah.
for next month, and then there's a separate one that's on our radar.
That's what I mean, the one that's on the radar.
The 53 Center
Yeah.
Road, that one. They are required to have a looped water system, which that's the sticking point right now, is trying to figure out how to do that. So there's a couple different approaches that are being
Oh,
looked
okay.
at.
Okay, so there's,
There's still some work going on in that.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's on the radar, but not in yet.
yeah.
because it seemed at one point they were quite close to coming in, and then, so,
Are we
it's
supposed to be talking about that?
Probably not.
water system, you say, huh?
Yeah.
Stick to our rules.
Yep. I will take a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I move to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Thank you, Sharon. Second?
I'll second.
Nick jumped up first, so.
Okay.
Sharon's motion, Nick's seconded. All those in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 4-0 at 8:02 PM.